I'm going to be the puppet master of not only my life, but I'm going to teach other people how to become the puppet master. So it's this ripple effect. And we keep waiting for, and we talk about this a lot, we keep waiting for someone to come in and save us. We keep someone to guide us. At the end of the day, it has to be you. All this political jargon, it's Trump's fault, it's Biden's fault, it's Obama's fault, it's Bush's fault, whatever you want to do to it.
But I don't vote.
But I don't vote, or I do vote, and I keep putting the same people in place. And I'm expecting the same results.
It's the definition of insanity. I'm expecting different results with the same action, right?
So stop being mad about your surroundings, because all you're doing
is your surroundings.
And well, this person's told me to this, so I'm going to do this. It didn't work, and now it's their fault. You have to be your own puppet master. You have to go out and stuff that you will have commonalities with every single part. Conversation is the best part. Learn from each other. Just because you have differences doesn't mean you can't learn from each other, and then go apply it to your life, and then go teach others, and so they can take that where they're stuck. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be when you're tuning into listening to this or watching this. This is your first time here. You have just found the best damn podcast that you've ever heard or seen before in your life. We are known as Old Guys Still Rock. You've just witnessed or are about to witness episode number 147. That's 147. We did it. We crossed another milestone. We made it a lot better than a lot of other podcasters in this world. So, again, if you're first time here, I am Blair Armstrong of Team Armstrong Coldwell Banker. I'm located in the beautiful Coachella Valley, which is basically Palm Springs, Palm Desert, La Quinta, Indio, wherever those places you may recognize the name of. I'm a global luxury specialist in the world of residential real estate. And then on my left, possibly your right, depending on how this comes out, is a good friend of mine and the other host of the show, Brent Wright of Brent Wright Incorporated, a man that wears many different hats. We have a very short window today, but we're still here every week as we promise. So if you want to know who he is, I usually give him this big pedestal, but we're going to get right into it today. So if you want to know who he is, we have 146 other episodes. Go check us out. I guarantee you're going to find one golden nugget out of there that not only will help you get better, but the people around you will get better. So how about that? That was a little short intro, man.
Yeah.
How the hell are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's chilly this morning, 29 degrees, and it's supposed to be 60 today. So
29 degrees.
We're in our odd springtime. We're having multiple fall summers. So
dude, we are a 50-degree difference at this point.
That's this crazy.
Given point in time. And we're going to be in the mid 90s today. And then we start getting a cooling trend again. Thank you, Jesus, on that. So yeah, man. But things are good with you. Family's good. We've, it's just kind of been a wham bam, like week after week after week. It seems to be going faster and faster and faster. And and here we are in episode number 147 today.
Yeah. Super crazy. On the subject of our subject today, about action. There's a lot of things that we are as a family taking action on.
Yeah.
To make a difference for ourselves and for others around us. And so I'm pretty excited about it. My kids are on board and taking massive action themselves. So it's super cool. My daughter's going to be 12 here coming up in about a month.
No kidding.
Yeah. Is that crazy?
That's so weird. We talked a lot about her last week. And, we've had both of our eldest kids on actually over the last couple of weeks. And so it's really cool to I saw something the other day, this lady post, and I reposted it, but her name's Trisha something. She's this is her life experiences. She was an atheist and became a Christian. And she was basically talking about transparency, and it was really from a women's standpoint. And it was so good. So that I basically messaged her back and I said, more guys need to hear this, right? Because they're so scared. And we talk about this a lot. We're so scared of growing up. Don't let anybody see the dents in your armor. Pull up your big boy pants. Just get back into it. Don't, don't share your losses, right? We talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
Only share your wins. Don't share your losses, because no one wants to know, no one wants to see the dent. So got a good response back. And I'm actually getting a lot of people that are not associated with me going, love that comment. So true. So hopefully, again, we always talk about the butterfly effect. One little comment, one little starfish back in the ocean just saves another one, which leads us in today, man. And I brought this up lately, and we talk about this a lot too, is we get these people that are keyboard warriors or follow influencers or really have kind of lost their identity, and they become puppets.
Yeah.
And you and I talk about this in so many different ways, but I really wanted to hammer this stuff on, not only from your insight as being a business coach and a personal coach, and along with other businesses, and me too, of growing a team in real estate, is really, are you your own puppet master, or is someone else being your puppet master? And I feel like more and more people are letting people control their strings. They're becoming the puppets. And because I feel, and I want you to expand on this for me, but in my mind, I feel that it's just a least path of resistance for them.
Yep.
I'll just go follow along with anybody, and I'll let the people that are controlling the strings, I'll follow along, because it's just easier that way. And what are your thoughts when you see that? Have you been around that, especially with your coaching? And people may have got stuck in that loop, or starting to lose their purpose, starting to lose their identity, and maybe really peeling back that onion. Are you seeing stuff like one little move or one little take, and all of a sudden somebody else is controlling the strings instead of them?
Well, I think most people, like you said, take the path of least resistance. So we have a lot of inputs. We've done a podcast about AI. We've done a podcast about action. We've done a podcast about all the things that we're going to kind of summarize today. But ultimately, we're in an information age, and information is more plentiful today than ever before. And so people don't know what to do with that information. And they're kind of just hitting the tops of all the mountains instead of getting into the valleys. And really, where the magic happens is in the valleys. We know that when we're in a valley, from a business standpoint, when you're in a valley in a personal standpoint, it's uncomfortable, but it's an opportunity to grow. And in our 7-second society, we talked about it in a podcast about it being an 8-second society. Quite frankly, I think we've dropped a second in the last year with
for sure.
all the AI. Everybody wants the information, but nobody wants to take action on it. So no different than, I'm reading this book right now, The Prince by Machiavelli, which was written in the 1400s.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so this information has been out for 1,500 years. But who's reading this and taking action on it? Who's reading this and actually doing something with it? Who's reading the Bible and actually doing something with it? That's really where the impasse happens. And so, from the point of our pastor, great human being, great pastor, great leader, all these things, he talks about taking action. But then you see it in the board meetings for the church, or you see it in the board meetings for the school, or you see it in the board meetings at a business event, or any of these things. You can go to every rah-rah event, but without the connection to action, all of this stuff is just garbage. So what are you feeding yourself? And then what's your plan to use it?
And I think that part, what you just said right there, is the most important part. Don't go away from becoming a stoic. Don't go away from trying to be the best entrepreneur you ever be, or the best fry kick, or whatever your purpose in it is going to be, right? But once you get that information, is, again, I want to keep hitting this home. Are you going to be the person's puppet that gave you the information, or are you going to take that information and be your own puppet master, and really take that and go with action and really putting things into place? Because anybody can tell you anything. If you're not completely thinking about how it portrays to you and just doing exactly what somebody else is doing, it's never going to help you advance as much as you think it is. And I think you also said another thing: to get off, listen to a great podcast like us and get fired up. We want you to take this information and apply it to yourself. Read your questions again, what you read before every decision that you talk about every week.
So my decision-making process is, does this serve me? Is this reasonable? Does this get me to my outcome? Is this consistent with my values and standards?
And do you believe, with reading that, right, that every piece of information that you get applies to those 5 topics?
No. And in fact, I try to use this. This is why it's on my wall, because this is very important. And so, even in conflict, so if you have a conflict, apply these decision-making principles to it. Right. And so I have a conflict and I've created a solution in my mind, write down the solution, and then apply the decision-making process to it. Because I don't know about you, but how many podcasts have you listened to this week? How many pieces of social media? How many YouTube videos? How many everything? Today's Thursday.
Right.
So we've had 4 days this week.
Right.
Likely you're getting 10 to 15 of those inputs a day.
Exactly.
But how many actions are you taking on those inputs? And how many of them are garbage? And how many of them can you actually use? So you and I went through 75 Hard multiple times. You did the Live Hard program. We have the 5 Steps book that Andy, we got from Andy. You can take a podcast or a summary from Ed Milet or pick somebody. But what are you doing with it? Like, I was in Arate for 6 years.
Right.
And they give you one tool every week for 3 weeks, and then you take a week off. So why do you take a week off?
Because you have to go ahead and make the adjustments that you need to make, right? And you have to digest it, go through that list, which you said to, okay, this is information I have. This is going to help me with the problem that I have. Here's my solution. And then going back to your list and how to apply that, because that information, whatever you receive, is going to be different for every single person that hears that piece of information. There's common threads throughout thought process between me and you, or me and one of my teammates, whatever, but they're also going to process that information, or whether they're going to apply it a different way.
So I use the OGSM process, and there's every process is similar but different. Call it what you will. There's usually 4 steps. Sean Whalen calls it Core 4. Garrett White uses a 4-place. All of these coaches, gurus, etc. It's typically this 4-place thought process or evaluation process, if you will. I use the OGSM. I think it fits really well. Objectives, goals, strategies, and measures. So in one of my coaching sessions this morning, they asked me, well, what are your thoughts on this? We're thinking about doing this and implementing this thing in our business. What do you think about it? I said, did you do an OGSM on it? No. How do you know it's going to work? Well, we're behind it. We believe it. We know it's going to work. Perfect. How are you going to measure it? What are the strategies? What are the goals? What's the objective? And so using OGSM or any other 4-part system to evaluate what you're going to do, and using that in business and personal life. So objective is feeling, goal is action, strategies are feelings, measurement is action. So if you're picking up what I'm laying down, it's equal parts action to equal parts feeling. And that's the way that you get to a successful outcome, or a successful failure, that you learn something and that you can carry through to the next scenario.
Yeah. Why do you think that so many of us are stuck trying to replicate somebody else?
Because we see somebody being successful and we want to emulate success. We all want to be successful. Most of us don't know how to get there.
Okay, so with that being said, you brought something up earlier today, this little Q&A back and forth that hopefully most of our listeners are probably going to ask this, or people are watching this are going to ask this too. Are you feeling that as much as we embraced AI, you and I use it in a certain way to a certain extent, but we also stay away from it from a certain extent?
Yeah.
Do you feel that AI, if we really don't pay attention to it, is going to be a detriment to those people that rely on it completely for them to advance to the next level?
It's made people lazy. It's made people not think and not formulate ideas and then take action on them. I mean, you can listen to 100 hours of a subject on discipline and not do anything that's disciplined. So, how much information can we take in without creating action is the question of the day.
Instantaneous results, as we've talked about. And again, all of these things, guys, is leading back to our subject. Is that's what we're trying to really hit on in so many different avenues of, like, when we rely on all these different supposedly easy buttons, which life is not supposed to be an easy button, that becomes a new puppet master for you, and you keep relying on it, and you keep relying on it, keep relying on it. And that might help right here, right now, in this little spot, but is going to help you. It's going to help you a month down the road, a year down the road, 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road, because you're going to rely on that information today and really learn, not what we talked about not learning from the loss. So you can have a loss, get that information like, oh, okay, I didn't think about that way. I'm going to take that one with this loss and I'm going to apply it to it. So next time I come through this, there is a good part of AI, but do not use it as easy buttons are not always the best thing in the world. Now, if you want cheat codes, you come listen to us and we give you the best cheat codes ever. And it just regarded AI.
So here's 3 key points that I want to hit on. When does learning become stalling? Why do people delay action? And is overlearning actually fear? We've talked about this before. I had one of my coaching clients that I actually terminated our coaching because all he wanted to do was learn. And every time, because I do accountability coaching, so every time I would hold him accountable to the action. Okay, so you said you wanted more sales. Did you actually go out and go door to door and put in yard signs and actually try to create the connector between you and your business to you and your customer? No. Well, how do you expect these people? We've talked about this before. Most people spend all this money and all this time and energy creating a business, making it pretty, and then the first day they turn the open sign on and they open the door and they stand out there and they're like, I'm ready, world. Come see me.
And no one's there.
And no one's there. It's the same thing with overlearning. Mm-hmm. If you have all this information and you're not applying it, are you just a collector of information or are you an executor of information? You have to make a decision.
You know, that's the same thing that we teach here. So you're doing a business coaching. I'm coaching in a different way with our team members and really helping them. My first thing too is like, I'm going to coach you, but I want you to use information that I give you to be better than me. So here's what I've learned. Here's how Blair does it, but I want you to take that information, apply it to yourself, how you work. And then a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, I want you to come back and be better than me. That's the whole purpose of when these guys, the Ed Milet's, the Andy Frisella's, you, Tony Robbins, David Goggins, all this stuff is they're giving you information. They actually are, in essence, in a roundabout way, are cutting your today's puppet strings and giving the strings back to you. And they would love for you to one day to come back and be better than them.
Well, like David Goggins, for instance.
Right.
He's doing all of his talks while he's running. So the natural inclination is that you're listening to him while you're running.
Exactly.
But
right?
Nobody does.
Yeah.
They listen to them while they're sitting. They listen to him while they're driving. They listen to him while they're doing something other than a real activity.
Right.
It's super weird how psychologically people don't get that you're listening to somebody running, but yet you don't.
True.
But
that's valid. Or
right?
even going on a walk. If you're listening to David Goggins, even going on a walk, you are doing that action of what he's wants you to do is just keep moving forward. It makes
you want to run.
Yeah.
Have you listened to him? He's like, he's yelling at you, get up, get going, do something, just do something. You know, like he's passionate about it. And so, you know, I think that we need to talk about what are the real barriers to action. I wrote down 4, sent them to you, and I'll let you embellish on those. But I think there's 4 real key barriers: fear of failure, fear of looking stupid, fear of rejection, and fear of success. I think more people are afraid of succeeding than they are of failing.
Yeah. there's a little bit of fear or failure to that. That fear of failure and fear of success to me are intertwined. I don't want to fail, and if I fail, then how am I going to become successful?
So I'm just not going to try.
So I'm just not going to try because I'm really comfortable right here, and it's working right now. I have a friend that is in business when things have been rough over the last couple of years, and when I talk to them, it's like, I've always been successful in business. I've always been successful in business. I just don't understand why that's happening. I'm like, because it's changed.
Because you dropped the ball.
It's that is like, because you were successful in the past doesn't mean you're going to be successful tomorrow or the next day. Every day is, we talked about this last week from John Maxwell, said that mountain never stops growing. You constantly. There's never a little plateau. Success is always a next time climb. And you can't wait for that new puppet master, that new information on there to continue to help you up that mountain. Because there's a certain time that puppet master, if you're relying on somebody else to help you, is only going to get you just so far. Like, oh, well, this is all I know. And so I'm just going to keep you here and dancing in this spot of the mountain and keep listening to my information and stay right here instead of being your own puppet master, going and then listen to that person, David Goggins, you, us, me, whatever. I'm like, okay, that's cool. That'll help me to the next spot, and then go find some more information, or maybe come back to us, because I hope you understand where I'm going with this. It's a constant movement, which you talked about with David Goggins. He's running. He's constantly moving forward. He's not running backwards. He's not running backwards talking to you. He's literally running forward, face forward, like the buffalo, head down, eyes forward.
Well, why? I mean, you've heard this saying before. Why is our windshield bigger than our rearview mirror? Because the things in front of us are bigger than what's behind us, right? And so I'll give you a for instance. So I went to one of my mentors. This is 10, 12, 15 years ago. And I said, I've plateaued. I feel like, I've got all these houses, I've got all these rentals, I've got all these things, but I can't bridge the gap between those things and my cash flow. I can't increase my cash flow anymore. I'm struggling to understand what to do. What's the next steps? I feel like I've plateaued and I really want to grow, but I don't know how to get there. He took his keys out of his pocket and he threw them down on the desk. He said, "What's the value of these keys?" And I said, "Well, they open doors." He's like, "That's too easy." I said, "Well, they control locks and things that have value. That's too easy." They do, but yes. But what are these keys actually doing for you? Sitting here on this desk. They can't move by themselves. They can't open locks by themselves. They can't do anything by themselves. Light bulb comes on. I said, "So tie this into my property." He said, "Your property is like these keys. They can't make you money if the money's not moving. So do you have loans against these properties?" "No, they're paid off." "Well, good for you. But now you have equity that's not moving. Pull a loan against all those houses and go buy more assets, and then do the same thing and rinse and repeat." So he gave me information. Now I have an opportunity to go provide action to that information. And so I did just that. So you ask me sometimes, how did you become a property owner, and how did you, do all those things? Because I rinsed and repeated the same thing that I did in the beginning. I didn't have a ton of money, but I bought some assets, low money down, did all those things, and they became cash flow for me, but I was stuck at a plateau. So then you have to leverage that information, leverage those assets, and create new workflows, new cash flows, and new asset classes. It's no different than information.
Yeah, that was good. So good.
Well, and then the impasse is most people that I coach, I need to get back on track. We've talked about this in a prior podcast. How are you going to get back on track? What's your plan? What are your action steps? Well, I'll start tomorrow. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. Why not start today? How many times have you heard me say this? The best time to plant a tree is yesterday. When's the next best time? Right now, not tomorrow. Right now. Because every minute you wait is a minute lost, and none of us are getting minutes back. We are actively dying every minute of every day that we don't take action.
Yeah. And I keep going back to what we talked about just a couple minutes ago, the fear of success, and everything's going right. And it's like, I know I should make this next move, but it's going so well right now. I don't want to take that next move, even though that will help me advance farther, faster. Because everything's comfortable. Everything's controllable. I've got it all under thing. And I also, switching gears a little bit, but staying in that same common thread is when and you probably get this with coaching, right? You're mentoring somebody, you're coaching somebody, and they're not doing the things that you hopefully want them to do, or telling them what to do and how to get to the next level.
Well, they're not even doing the things they say they're going to do.
Or
want to do.
But then and this really comes down to people with, let's just say you're a boss. Let's just talk about your detail shop, or April's, whoever has employees, and you're showing them what to do and they're not doing it. So you're like, screw it. I'm just going to do it myself.
Yeah. That's instant death.
And I say this, I have a situation with this place that I frequent called the Fitness Center. And it's, fortunately, Andy Frisella ruined me on this. Everything has its place. And so I go around and I take 15 to 20 minutes of my day and I put everything in its place.
And then the next day, it's the same way.
Staff, and it comes back, there's staff there. And I've kept saying something over and over again, and no one wants to do anything. And now it's become this running joke that it's almost, don't worry, Blair will take care of it.
He'll take care of it. Yeah. Somebody else will handle it.
Like, they're like, your OCD's off the charts. And I'm getting to the point, I'm like, that I was literally putting stuff together while the employee was sitting next to me, watching me do it.
And talking to you.
And talking to me. And someone came up to me and goes, did that really just happen? And I go, what? Because I'm so just like ingrained, like it's kind of a little bit of a therapy for me, whatever. And I go, what? I'm like, you were literally putting stuff away and straightening everything up, and the employee was standing there just watching you, talking to you, and then walked away. And I go, mother trucker, what type of example? How am I helping them get better, instead of like, hey, this is what needs to be done, and then can you help me with this? And then have them help me start doing it, not get mad at them and demean them and whatever.
Help them apply the action that needs to be taken.
And I want to get this stuff knocked out. I got a short window today while I'm here. Can you help me kind of put all this stuff back in place? And then that will ingrain them to do different things. I see that a lot with bosses, that they just get so frustrated. I'm the same way. I've asked for a couple of things I'm going to deal with it today. I asked for some stuff last week, and everybody wanted to get this stuff done. I'm like, okay, I need this, this, and this, and then we'll delegate it out to everybody. I still haven't got that information. And it's really just 2 pictures. That's all I need. And so everyone's going to be here today at 10:30. And I'm like, hey, where are my pictures? And they'll understand, because they've been working with me. I'm not trying to it's not the point of I want them to do the work for me. I'm trying to build credibility, so when they start growing their own team, that they understand the standards that need to have. There's a lot of stuff that you and I do, or any boss does, or any entrepreneur does behind the scenes, that they really don't see.
Well, some people get stuck when you try to empower them, because they think everything has to be perfect. And so you got to get into the root cause of why they're not taking action. And most of the time it's because they want perfection before they take action.
Yeah.
And what they don't understand is that by creating action, you're going to find out where you need to modify to get perfection. It's 20 actions, 18 failures, 2 wins.
Right.
It's not 20 actions, 20 wins. It's never going to be that way. And I don't say failures as in big catastrophic things that you need to tweak, minor adjustments, polishing the rock, right? So You can go down to the stream and see this boulder. And in 100 years, that boulder is going to be, the edges are going to be smoothed off. Things are going to fall off of it. Things might grow if it's not moving, right? So no different than we've talked about money needs to flow like water. You need to flow like water, because what happens when you're stagnant is things grow on. You live in a world where everybody's just waiting to die, right? You live in a retirement community.
Or drink. They're either waiting to die or have the next cocktail.
They're pickling themselves before they die, right? So
for sure.
My point is we've talked about this before in several podcasts, is, what happens when you win? Is that the end? Some people get addicted to winning. Some people get addicted to losing. But most of the impasses, people get addicted to stagnation. They're afraid to win and they're afraid to lose, so they just sit still.
Yeah. And going back to, we talked about employees, and you see a lot of moms this way. They enable their kids to a certain point that their kids don't know how to. Now, I know the standard's different in your household. Mm-hmm. You are, in essence, the puppet master with them right now, right? But there's eventually that you're going to give them.
Oh, no, the switch is flipped, buddy.
Yeah.
The switch is flipped. My daughter and son at dinner are actively planning the next time they get to make dinner for the family, right, and the things they want to make and the things that they think taste good, and they get people's feedback, and they, they're starting to manage us.
Yeah. But there's still a little bit of guidance in there, right? There's always going to be that little bit of guidance. So I'm not saying this, but that's the whole purpose of everything, is that we're going to sit down and we're going to be the puppet master for a little bit, but eventually we want you to control the strings and then get enough knowledge and apply it for the losses that you have. And by the way, the information that you gave me, Blair, was great. I did take an L on it, but here's how I turned it around and made it a W, mm-hmm, and then go back and then coach me on it. Right. And that's what, like, a good coach not only wants to teach, but it wants to learn from their student.
Exactly.
And that's a big thing to it, is it's cool that you know a lot of stuff when you're bringing on somebody new, but you want to take all the stuff that you teach them and then have them enhance it and come back and teach you. And I get that once in a while. And that's the purpose of it, is that when we're doing this podcast, and we really want to give you the nuggets to not only apply to yourself, but apply to the people that you're running around with, and then have them become their own puppet master, or come back and say, oh my God, that information was great, and this is what I learned when I was struggling. And then you're like, oh my God, I never thought of it that way, right?
So I heard something the other day that kind of summarizes our whole podcast today, the subject. You cannot be anxious when you're creating action. People that have anxiety are usually not moving. And so if you are anxious or have anxiety or been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder, any of those things, learn one thing, apply one thing, and measure one result. The problem is there's so much information out here that I believe that it's become intellectual entertainment. Mm-hmm. Most people are addicted to the idea of getting better, but not the cost of getting better.
Well, going back to our social media part and our influencers, right? Zuckerberg is being sued for a social media addiction. Mm-hmm. And I find that kind of ironic that he's getting sued for it, because he didn't force it down their throat.
He's provided a platform.
He provided a platform. I understand the premise behind it, because the algorithms and the stuff that's there and the subliminal messages and what's portrayed on there, I get that. But you have a decision to either continue to watch that, listen to it, follow it, whatever it is. So trying to sue somebody because you're addicted to social media, it's not his fault. At the end of the day, to me, you can argue that, and I'd love to have a debate on that. It's not the only fault it is the person. It's your fault. If you've become addicted to social media, if you become addicted to porn, if you become addicted to influencers, that's on you, dude, or chick, whatever.
There's a 12-step program for that.
Yeah, right. Maybe that's a new 12-step. Instead of alcoholism, we have socialism, right, a different type of socialism. But I just find it funny that when something doesn't work, then they have to come back and try to, well, it doesn't work the right way. They come back and try to sue somebody, or that person is full of junk. Well, it goes back to what you said earlier. Okay. You took in the information, but how did you use it to get better?
Mm-hmm.
These people can't fix you. They're just giving you golden nuggets. We're giving you golden nuggets. That's why we have roving followers. We're not talking about stuff that doesn't work. This is what works. This is our losses. This is how we made it a win. We want you to take that, apply it to yourself, make it better, come back and tell us of what it got better, and then go and share that with your friends and let us share it with your friends. Or come on, sit, there's a seat next to me, is come over and tell us the things that you've learned. You know, talking about Emma last week, having Christian on here a couple weeks ago, having Caitlin. Caitlin is still going through, you know, in-light hyperbarics is going to the next level. She is scared out of her mind, but if she knows that she doesn't get there, it's going to the certain thing. Same thing with Christian.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared out of my mind. I don't know what paycheck's coming in next. And he comes out with it, and he had to make some decisions. Like, I have to do some different things. He's making some videos now. I think you saw his new trailer that he got,
Yep.
stuff like that. But those are things that I can keep this money, or I can put money into something else and bring it out to gather different attention, and then do my informational videos so I can share that with people that know that there is a next level. And hopefully not only does that bring him more business, but inspires somebody that stuck watching Christian, watching Caitlin, listening to Emma when she's in her Be Nice Club, watching, trying to think, I've just lost the track of your son's name. I'm having a brain fart. Sorry.
Lincoln.
Oh, guys, don't worry. Lincoln.
In
the chess
yeah.
club.
In the chess club, yep.
So all of those things, you've ingrained it, I've ingrained it, you know, Christian's other dad, Brian, those are different things that they've taken that information and they've used it to move forward. And even when they stuck, they can go back and look around like, okay, this is how they got out of it. I'm going to apply that to myself and go forward. Mm-hmm. So the whole premise behind this, as we're getting near to the close of this podcast, the whole premise is when you're, first of all, what type of information are you getting, where you're getting your information from? Are these guys really successful? Are there just some flash in the pan? Have they been consistent with their message and proven that it works? And then, okay, they did it. So now it's time for you to become your puppet master. You've gathered all that information. You know how all the strings work and how to get forward and how to climb the mountain and how to circumvent potholes. And we talked about that in the past too, is now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be the puppet master of not only my life, but I'm going to teach other people how to become the puppet master. So it's this ripple effect. And we keep waiting for, and we talk about this a lot, we keep waiting for someone to come in and save us. We keep someone to guide us. At the end of the day, it has to be you. Yeah. All this political jargon, it's Trump's fault, it's Biden's fault, it's Obama's fault, it's Bush's fault, whatever you want to do to it.
But I don't vote.
Or I do vote, and I keep putting the same people in place.
Right.
And I'm expecting the same results.
It's the definition of insanity. I'm expecting different results with the same action, right? So
stop being mad about your surroundings, because
all you're doing your surroundings.
And well, this person told me that this, so I'm going to do this. It didn't work, and now it's their fault. You have to be your own puppet master. You have to go out and stuff that you will have commonalities with every single person. Conversation is the best part. Learn from each other. Just because you have differences doesn't mean you can't learn from each other. And then go apply it to your life, and then go teach others, and so they can take that where they're stuck. So I just find the whole premise of this stuff, as I keep watching these people over and over again, is like, no, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. No, you're right. No, I'm right. You're not getting anywhere, because you're stuck in the same algorithm it's Groundhog Day. Every day's the same day.
Yeah.
And then you just get mad. It's like, the world's going to hell in a handbasket. And what the hell are you going to do about it?
Yeah. What are you? Is the key word. You going to do about it?
And for these guys that are first time here, we're not pointing the finger at anybody but ourselves. So this is not towards like, you're a piece of shit and you can't do anything. It's like, we are telling this, like, so when we're talking about this is a trigger in our minds that not only, okay, we have to carry the torch, but we're finding the other people to light their torches so they can carry the torch with us. Yeah. So it's not a beat you down and you're worthless. No, you're amazing people. You've got great opportunities in front of you to go ahead and join us and help this place get better, instead of voting for people that you think are going to change your life. Vote for yourself and go out and make a difference, right?
And take
action, man. Even if it's going to become on a board member or city council person or whatever it's going to be, go take some action. Go make if you want the community to be a certain way, go take action. If you don't like the way that community is being run, go take action. Anyway,
I know that we gotta give you final nuggets. So there is a study out there that a gentleman did in the 1920s. So bear in mind, this is 100 years ago. So this information doubtfully has changed much, if at all. And he interviewed like 16 billionaires over the course of a year and then wrote a book on it. And all of their traits that he documented were these 4 traits. Everybody wants to be a billionaire, right? I mean, it'd be super cool because then you could effectively affect a lot of people's lives, make the world better. You know, everybody dreams of that. But what are you going to do to become a billionaire? And so the difference is that they act fast, they adjust quickly, they don't wait for perfection, and they value repetitive motion over research. And with that, take that nugget and you go make a damn difference today.
After that, we were short and sweet today, guys. There was a lot of stuff packed into there, so I definitely want you guys to go back and listen to this episode a couple of times. But start becoming your own puppet master, and then train somebody else how to become their own puppet master. It's all on our shoulders, every single one of us. And if you have a friend that's stuck, send this episode to them. Send the other 146 episodes to them. Come and tell us what you think, right or wrong. And then become a part of our community. Follow us, share us, like us, whatever it is to it. We're not asking you to buy a book. We're not asking you to come join a seminar. We're not asking anything else. We are going a different approach of sharing our time, sharing our wins, sharing our losses to make this better, because it's going to take all of us to do that. All right, my dude, go out. I know you got a big plate for the next couple of days, so go out and make yourself great. But guys, until we see each other next week, stay safe, but most of all, God bless.